what's this week's Devil in the Detail podcast? I'm Rob Paxson, and we're here talking all things Salford Red Devils. Joining the show this week, as ever, everyone's favourite, it's Paul Whiteside. How's your week been, mate?
Everyone's favourite. I don't know about that. Yeah, I've been all right, thanks, mate. Yeah, working and what have you, and looking after our Dixon, our dog, creating havoc around the house. But no, we're doing all right. Everyone's okay, and looking forward to Friday, mate. After the disappointment of Hull car in the wet on Sunday.
There's a rumour that Dixon likes pizza. Can you confirm or deny this little story?
Oh well,
going round?
There's been another escapade tonight. Well, last night, you know, like when you're kids, I always shout and say, "Tea's ready," and you can't get them down. They're either on their iPad or they're doing this, that, and the other. And there was a pizza on the side last night. Imogen comes down. Why have I only got half a pizza? Anyway, I thought, well, I've not nicked it. And I never thought. And I turned around and he's in garden with in his mouth. Like, well, tonight he's run off with half a packet of spaghetti. You know, the spaghetti strands out of the cupboard. You know, the dry spaghetti. Yeah. They're all over the house, and he's a little sod. I love him though, but he's a little bugger.
It's all the fun of the fair when you have dogs. It's that they're all mischievous, aren't they?
Oh, he certainly is. Yeah, he's a tea leaf. Anything that's lying around the house, he'll just take it and run off with it.
Yeah.
Just wants a
chase.
Also
joining us on the show, undefeated in 5 years as a junior, we found out last week, and now top of the prediction league as a senior. We've got Paul Parkin. How was your prediction result this last week, Paul?
Yeah, it must have been okay. I had a brief look before. I'm still top of the league, so I must have done all right. Yeah, a bit surprising, really. I didn't really check the results either, so I know I got a couple wrong because I definitely went with Salford and I went with Warrington, and both of us got a good panning. So I'm not that good at predicting, clearly. But yeah, it's been it's good fun, and it's something to keep you interested. And that reminds me, I'll have to do it tonight for ready for tomorrow.
Have you got yours close to your chest? Because we don't want to give Paul any tips. He's in the changing pack, isn't he?
Yeah, no. I put it on about midnight when everyone's got to bed, I think.
I've done mine.
Getting yours in early, Paul.
I've done mine. Yeah, I'm just waiting for my dad. He's not done his yet. He was top at table for a while, but Parky's overtook him now. I think he's been top all season, but I think Parky overtook him about 2 or 3 weeks ago, so he's dropped to third now. So I think I'm about... There's 25 in that league, isn't there, Paul? I think I'm about 12, so I'm mid-table mediocrity.
Mid-table, that's a good place to build from for Paul for next season.
Better than last season. I was near the bottom last season, so I am getting slightly better. Slightly
better. What did I do? I've had a good night, actually. I went to called Mike's podcast group, sort of coordinating with loads of other podcasts for different genres to find out what they do and if we can take anything from it. So that was interesting. Nice talk to a lot of them, and helps us get some ideas and sort of programs that you use, Paaki. So it'd be good to take some advice and make this podcast bigger and better.
Yeah, definitely. I know we've been sort of chatting briefly recently, haven't we, about a few things that we could possibly move on to. It's anything that can just freshen things up as well. Obviously, we love chatting, but get more people involved or whatever, find a new way of doing things. Yeah, always we've got to be open. Time's moving on, and even doing this now on via Skype or whatever, this will be all that in 12 months' time.
Yeah. And we've got obviously 40,000 listeners this year so far, Paul. So it kind of blows your mind, really, that there's people out there, tuning in, doing their own thing, and we're in their ears, talking all things Salford Red Devils.
It does. It sort of blows my mind a bit, that the amount of people who listen and contribute and that. And we must be doing all right there, because you doubt yourself sometimes. Don't you think, God, I bet they're sick of listening to me waffling on. But no, it sounds like people enjoy it, and that's what we do it for, don't we? For the enjoyment and to get the message of our great rugby league club to people. So long may it continue.
Yeah, so we look back at the games last week. We'll have all the big news coming out of the club this week. We'll have Whiteside's World of Rugby League, and then we'll preview the game against Wigan on Friday. So we'll start with the Hull KR defeat. So Salford Devils travelled Hull to Rovers on Sunday and went down to defeat 43 points to 16. Paul, talk us through it.
Yeah, I thought I expected us to get a result, to be honest with you. After the sort of the week's break we had, I looked at the squad and it was quite a strong squad, and we'd had 2 good wins against Leeds and Castleford in the previous weeks at home. And for one reason or another, we didn't really get going early doors. And Lachlan Coote got those 2 tries, and before you know it, you're 18-0 down, and nothing seemed to be going right for us. And we didn't look a threat with the ball. To be honest with you, I don't think we had to play the ball in their 20 till about 23 minutes into the match. So we did make a break between Dion Cross and Ken Seo, and I don't know what they were doing there. They overplayed that one. They should have scored. They made a right porridge of it. But other than that, we didn't have any territory, not much possession. Completion rate was pretty poor, and we were behind the 8 ball really. And at 19 points to 6 at half time, I couldn't really see us coming back in the second half. And OK played well. You've got to give them the due. They brought Mikey Lewis back, and Parcell, I thought, he run the show for them, around the ruck, and that we couldn't stop him, and he caused us all sorts of problems. And yeah, well beaten, really, Rob.
Yeah, obviously disappointing result, Parker. If you're looking for a playoff spot, you've got to go to Hull KR and win kind of a team around us. I know we've beaten teams around us previously, like Leeds and Castleford, but you've got to win more than you lose. And at this moment, I think we've won 2, lost 4. I think.
Yeah, the game was massively disappointing. We went there. They've been on the back of some real poor results. Not even been able to score tries in recent weeks. Okay, and then they just ran ragged against it. They were. I mean, like Paul said, full credit to him. And Parcell was outstanding, absolutely unbelievable. But it probably helped him that we didn't have any Andy Ackers either, which was a big blow. You could see the difference made around the acting half. It was a huge difference. But for me, I thought our forwards were not just disappointing. I thought they weren't even in the game. They were bullied in attack and defence. We couldn't make meets. We couldn't get out of our own half. That's like Paul saying, we didn't get to play the ball in their 20. So lucky to get out of our own half most of the time. There seem to be, and I don't want to level this kind of thing at the lads. It's not what I mean, but not a lack of effort, but it just felt like one of them games from the very start that we weren't not interested in, but we weren't up for. We didn't look right. There was an imbalance in the team. The kind of performance I'd seen before years back. When there's something going on behind the scenes. It was one of them. Now I don't think there is. I don't think there was. I think it might have just been a glitch, a one-off. We've got there. We've had to shuffle the pack again. Players coming out of the team, the conditions. I know it's for both teams, but we're dreadful. I think we got punished a little bit as well by the officials. I'm not blaming them for the defeat in any shape or form. I just don't think he was a very good official. I mean, their fans were singing that he was not particularly good at his job, as were ours. So it was it was one of them. I just don't think he let the game flow enough. But no, overall, just not good enough. There wasn't a player on that park for me from the Salford point of view who stood out. Perhaps if, like when Paul said about that break early on with Kenny Seo and Cross, he would have scored off that. It may have been a different game. You don't know, but from that point on, we weren't in it at all, and OKR easily deserved the win.
Sounds like we weren't tuned in, Paul. Obviously, like Parky said, OKR got the 2 quick scores and then obviously unravelled a bit, 2 sin bins, and just not a great day.
No, I know you'll probably tell us about the stats, but for the forwards, I'd like to know how many meters they made, because they didn't make many. And that was the problem. We just got totally beaten up in the pack. And when you're not spending time in your opposition sort of attacking, whatever they call it now, the 20-metre zone or whatever, you're not going to create chances and score. And we just kept handing the initiative back to them. I think there was one where Tim Laffey knocked on. We just got the ball back, and he coughs the ball up on the second tackle, deep in his own half. They chucked the ball out wide, and I think it was Ryan Hall who went over in the corner, big looping pass, and he goes in, and it's 18-0. So you're not going to... You can't afford to keep giving an opposition opportunities. And I know OKR had been poor. They'd lost a couple of matches. They'd been nilled. But they had a few players coming back into the side. They looked a lot more balanced with Coote in the team. Coote's a good player. Parcell's a good player. That Lewis coming back as well. And they won the game at a canter, really. And Yeah, we were really disappointing, but I think forward-wise we was poor. Andy Acker's pulled out, I think, on the captain's run. So I mean, Burrow didn't do anything wrong really, but you do miss Ackers around the ruck. But no, Brodie Croft and Mark Sneyd didn't really get any sort of platform to play their stuff on from the forwards. And to be honest with you, Mark Sneyd didn't have his best game again. He was pretty poor in the game at Hull, and he was pretty poor against Hull. His kicking game wasn't great. And yeah, I don't know, when he goes to Hull, does the crowd get on him a bit? I'm not too sure, but it was one of them. It was a cauldron atmosphere there, and they make it tough for you to play, and they got the tails up. And I think if you go there, like when you go to Hull, if you go there and you're behind the 8 ball early doors, it's very hard to turn it round because they get a bit of momentum going. The crowd's really vociferous there, if you like. And Tony Smith got his tactics bang on for Hull. They played really well.
Yeah, like I said, 2 sin bins, Tyra Durpery and Harvey Levette in the bin, Parker. That's 20 minutes down to 12 men. It's a lot of time that against a team like Ukia.
Yeah, we were discussing off air early on. Tyler Dupree, I'm still not sure what he's got sin bin for. Again, he gets physically handled off a Hull KR player and somehow gets sin bin for it. I don't. Again, just one of them baffling decisions, which you don't need when you're struggling, especially when he's one of your bigger players as well in terms of size. We really lack. But yeah, again, discipline is an issue. We got penalised a lot. And the other thing, going back to Paul saying about Laffey dropping the ball, I mean, the amount of times we dropped it on the first and second tackle, no respect for the ball at all. Yes, conditions were difficult, but that's not an excuse for not holding a ball. And in the first half, I think we were really against the wind. Couldn't tell from where we were in that end, but I think the wind was really strong in our faces, making it difficult anyway to get out of the half. But we've got to do better than that. But overall, I just don't think that there was anything positive came out of the game. I mean, the Levette sin bin in I think he got sin bin for mouthing off at the referee for an incident leading up to one of Hull KR's tries. Whether it is or it isn't, you just got to get on with it, And if there is a complaint to be made, let your captain do it. Let your captain go up and have a word with the referee. But don't do stupid things like that. Not when you're under the cosh. We need everybody in the park at the moment. And Harvey's a really talented player. We know that. Just stupid, really. But by that point, I mean, the game had gone, and they looked like they were going to run a try in every time they got the ball. And so that was the other thing that overall, considering the way we've been playing recently, the Saints game, Wigan, the Leeds, defences have been brilliant by us. It was non-existent the other day. It fell apart. The amount of times they just ran through us, literally ran through without a hand being put on them. That was slightly embarrassing at times. And you can't defend it. Literally can't defend it, clearly. But I'm just hoping it's a one-off. It's a glitch, We've been playing really well under a lot of stress with a lot of bodies missing, and maybe this was a game too far. Maybe the week off in between didn't help us. Maybe we could have done with just carrying on building, and it give KR a chance to get a few players back. But no excuses. We were just well beaten on the day.
Yeah, well beaten, Paul. Obviously, playoff chances looking a bit slim, but not fatal at the moment.
No, I think what you've got at the moment is a lot of teams that are pushing around that middle bit. For me, you've got like Wigan Saints who look really good. I mean, Wigan have got a bit of steel this season, haven't they? I think last season quite a way behind St Helens, but this season I think they've closed the gap. Huddersfield are playing pretty well as well. You've got Catalans, and then after them, I think Hull, Warrington, us, Castleford. All the sides around OKR, they're all much of a muchness, really. I mean, you can even count Wakefield in that. I think Wakefield had a really good win at the weekend, and you can see Toulouse picking wins up. So I don't think you can count anybody out yet of that top 8. It's about being consistent, though, and I'm just thinking back to the tries. I mean, if you watch that second half again, if you watch the highlights, I think there's a lad called Ethan Ryan who runs through. Ben Crooks goes through twice. One of them was a really bad obstruction, and I think that's why Harvey Levette was sitting in, because it was obstruction. But the way we waved them in for them tries, I mean, that was pathetic defence, some of that. It was just running rings round us, and you can't afford to do that. We didn't do that against St Helens away from home. That intensity was there. So if you do want to get in that playoffs, you're going to have to start winning matches because teams around us are going to be winning, and you've got to take those points off them. But if you can't be consistent and you're going to concede tries like that, you're not going to get there, are you? So, and it was a shame, really, because it was an ideal opportunity at the weekend with Cass getting beat. Warrington got lamped at home to Leeds as well. So a result for us would have really catapulted us up there. But all's not lost. We've got some home games coming up now when we need to make sure we get a result of them. But defence has got to improve.
It's a big test, isn't it, Parker? Because obviously, you look back at patterns, don't you, and the way previous Salford sides have missed out on playoff spots, and going to OKR and not win is kind of in that genre. So really now we need to go somewhere and win where we don't expect.
Yeah, and that's going to be difficult looking at the teams we've got away from home still to come, including the Magic weekend as well. You got Huddersfield. That's, these are games you're looking at going, now it looks difficult. A couple of weeks ago, I might have thought, well, why not? Why can't we? But I don't know. We've got Headingley, haven't we? A place that we don't win and things like, that's, I know what you're saying. And Hull KR was one of them that really you target, I suppose, in many ways, especially after what they did to us at our place. Again, we let them get off to a flyer and couldn't bring it back. And I was giddy. I don't know if I messaged you two lads the day before after all the results had come in, and I said, we win tomorrow with joint sick, and it's like win by 20. If we'd have won by more or less what OKR won by, we could have actually had 6 spot to ourselves, and that you get yourself to that level because you've seen what we can do, what we've achieved in the last few weeks, and then you bubble burst straight away with a performance like that, and then you're looking thinking, oh God, where's the next win coming from? Wigan this week. Well, as Paul said, they've got some steel about them. They're playing some really good rugby at the moment. Following that, we'll probably have Waking. We've got Toulouse coming up eventually, but you still got Catalan. That's look difficult if we had any aspirations of making them playoffs. And I think now all the focus has got to be staying out of that bottom 2, bottom 3.
But Paul Rowley's an experienced coach. Paul, he's coached some top teams in sort of playoff situations, so he knows how to get his team into a playoff and progress.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever coached sort of Super League around the playoffs. Was it Leigh and Toronto? Wasn't it? So you're talking sort of championship level. Super League's a different kettle of fish in it, really. But I think just looking at the fixtures coming up, there's some tough ones. I never like, I say it to you guys, never like looking down the table. But alarm bells started ringing for me really on Sunday because I thought it's going to be tough now. Because if you look at Wakefield, they've had a really good win there. Watch the highlights. They were 18-6 down. They've come back, showed a bit of steel and beat all 19-18, I think it was. They've got Warrington this weekend at home at Bellevue. That'll be tough for Warrington. Warrington are shocking. Watched their game the other night, and I can't put my finger. They're the biggest enigma going. So that's a massive game, that, for Wakefield. So if Wakefield can turn them over, the next game is then against us. So that game then for us becomes a massive game because you lose that one. Toulouse pick a few wins up. You're down in the bottom 2 with Toulouse. We've got to go over there. So the picture can change week by week, can't it? 1 week you're aiming for the playoffs. The next week, everyone is that close at the bottom end of the table. We've just got to make sure we keep our heads above water. So this weekend against Wigan is a massive game. I mean, Wigan are a tough side to beat, but we've got to go out there and give it our all. If we can nick a win there, then you start pulling away again, don't you? So it's exciting. I mean, it's a great league to be in because of how close things are, but we just don't want it too close for comfort where we're going to get dragged into that bottom bit again. So there's an awful lot of work to be done. I mean, I don't want to be negative and say, well, we're going to get relegated, but we've still got a lot of work to do to sort of keep away from that.
Yeah, looking at the stats, top tacklers, Alex Gerrard 19, Tyra Durpery 21, Callum Watkins 33, Elijah Taylor 44, Amé Burrough 41, and Dion Cross 34. So players putting a shift in, Park here.
Yeah, Dion Cross doing 30 odd. They must have some traffic down his side. That's a lot of tackles for him. Elijah Taylor, again, you expect him. He's in the middle. That's what he's going to do. He did miss a couple on Sunday, Elijah, which was sloppy. But he looked shot. He looked absolutely shattered. But there's no chance of him having a rest, is there? Because we've got nobody to bring in. that's a couple of players getting in the 40s in tackles. It just shows, how little ball we actually had, and the fact we were on the back foot for virtually the full 80. But yeah, so you've got to put them tackles in. But again, Callum Watkins, another good stint in defence, but you're going to do that if you're not going forward, and that's the next bit that the next set of stats that are going to be that I'm very keen to
look at, and we'll do it now, Parker. The top meter makers we've got are Tyler Durperbury with 75, Tim Laffine with 97, Joel Burgess 127, Danny Addy with 86, and Dion Cross with 151. So does that answer your questions, Parker?
Well, not really. It's the backs, the three backs that you just named there. None of our forwards made more than 70 metres.
No.
I mean, that's in 80 minutes. That's just appalling. It's not even. There's no defence for that at all. I mean, our front row, well, our props were just bullied, absolutely bullied. Every time we got the ball, they were hit by 2 or 3 OKR players. We went nowhere. The strange thing was we didn't really switch tactics either. I think we just kept trying the same thing that wasn't working, which was disappointing. But like I say, I am a little bit down at the moment. But I think we've just got to look forward and just hope it was a one-off, and maybe the players have had a look at themselves now and tried freshening up during the week, change a few things, and I don't know. We just got to look forward to Friday now.
I think one of the players were on 65 and the rest were below 40, Paul. So that kind of shows you that we weren't making meters against OKR.
No, completely bullied in the forwards. And I mean, they've not got the biggest pack in the world, have they? They're not a pack that's full of world-class superstars, are they? So, I mean, credit to them, they worked really hard and played well. But you've got some big men in there. Jack Armouride, Alex Gerrard, big lads. You've got to work harder. You need to put it in. Harvey Levette's in there as well. I mean, Callum Watkins, it's not a bad pack that we've got. All right, we're a bit low on numbers, but there's players in there with the experience and the size. So you've got to expect an improvement against Wigan, I think. I mean, it was a poor display. I think it was a really poor display at OKR. I'm not taking anything away from them at all, but that was disappointing. I wasn't expecting a 40-odd point hammering, and it could be more than that, to be honest with you. I think they bombed a few chances, but we were never in that match. And if we're to make this playoffs, we've got to start winning games. If we carry on playing like that, we're going to wind up getting relegated. So we've got to step up. We really have got to step up this week, and it's going to be difficult against Wigan because they've got a big pack of forwards. Like Liam Farrell in there, the fantastic work engine he's got, and some of the other lads in there as well. They're big and mobile, and they like to throw the ball about as well, don't they? If we'll come on to that in the preview, but yeah, worrying really that performance in the pack.
Yeah, big thanks for your 3-word match reports. Man of the matches: Heather Robinson, we need forwards. Burgess. Colin Reynolds, we're so inconsistent. Burgess. Rick Andrew, investment needed urgently. Burgess. Park, Paul Rowley often talks about trying to get new players in, but it is difficult in the situation we're in.
It is when this, the cupboard's bare. What do you do? The worrying thing is, it doesn't look like any of our injuries are anywhere near coming back. And when I look at it, to be fair, I'm thinking, well, we know that that King won't be back this year, but other than that, who of any great size or bulk that would make a massive difference to us is actually missing. That's a concern. There is another way of looking at it, and I don't know where you obviously can't find money from anywhere. It's the same in every household at the moment. Never mind a rugby club, but for me, if results do go against us in the next few weeks, it's not a case of we can't afford to bring players in. It's more of a case of you can't afford not to. That's the problem you're going to get yourselves in. And I don't know the answer. I haven't got the answer. I'm sure Paul King would love the answer. Paul Rowley would. Ian Blease, we'd love a little windfall somewhere. If one of us could just get them, numbers on the lottery, but it's going to be tough. I don't know what the answer is, but at the moment, we might need, players to come in because like I said, that pack just wasn't good enough the other day, and we are going to meet teams with bigger packs, stronger packs. I think our backline it can be as good on its day as anybody's, but if you've not got the ball in the opponent's half, it's a complete waste of talent. So yes, investment needed, but where do you get it from? That's the problem.
I have no doubt investment will come because we've got home games, Super League pay, give the teams money in instalments through the season. So the money will come, Paul. It's just a matter of obviously deciding when to splash the cash to get the maximum result.
Yeah, another thing is, are the players going to be available? Who's going to let the players go in the middle of the season? So you've got to have targets, haven't you, and people there ready to come in. So it's all right having the money, but yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult for all teams, isn't it? But we know that situation. But nobody questioned the squad when we beat Leeds and Cass. It's only when you start losing matches where people start saying, "Oh, well, the money's a bit tight," and that. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not criticising the attitude of the players. I mean, it'd be unfair for me to say that, but there was a different attitude, I thought, a different demeanour about them on Sunday at OK. And I'm not sure what. I can't put my finger on it, but we'd all like to have a few more players, wouldn't we? I mean, you're not going to see James Greenwood again this season. I don't think you're going to see King Vuniyawa again this season. Dan Sargent looks like he's out this season as well. They're the only ones at the top of my head I can think of at the moment. But we should have enough there. You can ream that side off from Sunday, and there should be enough there in our first team to be competing at this level. We've already proved that this season. With the run of games we were on before we played Ulster, the Wigan and Saints performances were outstanding, and obviously we won the 2 games against Cass and Leeds. I know there's probably players struggling. If you're talking about players who are playing with painkilling injections and this, that, and the other, and are playing through the pain barrier, it is tough. It's a tough ask every week, and whether that's what Paul Rowley was alluding to in his press conference, I'm not too sure. But we could, there's always a time where you could do with players, and hopefully, if we can, I think you two mentioned it before off air when we were talking about 2018 when we were in dire need of numbers really, and we brought Jackson Hastings and Joey Lussick in, and effectively those two kept us in the Super League really, didn't it? Without them, I think we would have been good night Vienna, wouldn't it? So yeah, hopefully if we can get some investment, then that would help definitely.
Yeah, so big thanks for your 3-word match reports and man of the matches, and we'll just put that defeat behind us and move on. Let's talk about the other game that happened last week. I went to Leigh Rugby Union Club to watch the mixed ability team play Leigh. It was part of the Leigh Festival that took part over the weekend in Leigh. There was a beer festival there, there was music, there was rides, there was games. My son had played a game called Whack the Rat. Have you ever heard that, Paul?
Is it the one where something pops up and you have to whack it with an hammer, something like
Basically,
that?
yeah. There's a stuffed rat and on a drain pipe, and he drops the rat through the drain pipe, and you have to sort of hit the rat against the wall and keep it there to win a prize. So my son fancied a go, and I thought, just try and hit the rat. Just make it simple for him. So the guy said, "Are you ready?" So he says, "Yeah," and he drops the rat. And he just sort of opens his body like prime Andrew Flintoff and cracks the rat between me and the guy running the ride between us, and goes for 4. I looked at the guy running the ride, looked at my son, and was like, "No, press it against, don't hit it." It was pretty funny at the time. But I didn't win the rat. I didn't win the prize at the end of the day, but it's just disappointing. But talking about the game, very exciting. Salford Devils won. The atmosphere, I thought, in the crowd that was there, everyone was supporting everyone. Really, really good. They'd score, everyone cheered. We score, everyone cheer. It's kind of what sort of rugby league's all about. There was no tactics, there was no building pressure, and I think like when we talk about it and we watch sort of the men's game and the women's game, you get caught up in that park. You don't get caught up in all the sort of like, let's build pressure, let's force something. When really rugby league should be just enjoyed, shouldn't it?
Yeah, very much so. It's good to hear. It sounds like a good day, really. But point score as well. Yeah, no, absolutely. Take the. I mean, this is the thing that I get with when I watch, juniors play these days and stuff, and you seem to get it's a lot more technical and tactical than it used to be.
Yeah.
And I remember, when I first started playing, you played for fun. You played because you enjoyed it. Your mum and dad would come down and watch you, and you ran about with a ball or whatever. And then as you got older, you started to learn a little bit more and take it a little bit more seriously. But that's what it needs. It needs to be enjoyed. And if you enjoy the game, you'll get into it more. You don't need the pressure of somebody shouting at you every 2 seconds or get here, do this, do that. Just go and enjoy yourself. That's what rugby league should be about. And it was great to hear. It sounds like it was a decent day.
Yeah, it was really good. It was kind of a mixed ability. So people wearing sort of vests was tap, and then people weren't wearing vests was full contact. So it was like a weird kind of mixture of someone getting tapped and the next tackle, big crunching tackle, which you kind of had to get used to. But it was really, really good. People that kind of stood out for me. A couple of lads stood out for me. Sean Robinson, right? Here's a story for you. Never kicked a goal in his life. Decided that he'd have a go at the match and kick 6 from 6, Paul, which is like fairy tale stuff.
It's like the new Steve Blakely, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the stuff. That's quality. Steve Blakely, Chris Charles.
Yeah.
In between, yeah, that's great. Like you said, from the pictures we've seen, what we've been sent to us from the last few weeks, from the festivals, and it looks like they're having a great time, doesn't it? And that's what it's all about, particularly at that level. It's not all about the win. It's about the keeping fit and the playing in a team and the enjoyment of that and the sort of camaraderie that you can have and the friends that you can make as well. So I think it's tremendous that. But yeah, to kick 6 from 6, that's not bad going. That Mark Sneed, watch out.
I tell you what, they weren't all under the post either. He was kicking from all over the show, Parky. So it kind of shows that he loves it and he can kick goals too.
Yeah, he's got. I mean, I don't know what it is because I know Demi in the ladies team can boot the ball as well. We've got some good goal kickers at the club now, haven't we? We all know Sneedy's qualities, although the one he attempted on Sunday when he ended up on his backside wasn't too clever. But no, brilliant. He's great to him. I don't know the backgrounds of these lads playing, and and hopefully girls as well getting more and more involved. But as long as if they're new to the game and they're coming into it and they're enjoying it, that's the future of the game. They're going to bring people along and hopefully expand our name as a club and get it out there to what we're doing and what we're offering now. And like we've said it nearly every week, but for the last 2 years, where the club has changed so much off the park, away from what the first team do, and this is just another example of it. It's another arm, and it's brilliant to see.
Yeah, talk about being new to the game, Paul. Jake Forbes saw an advert on, I presume, Facebook, asking if for players for I think it was the PDR team, and he decided that he wanted to play. So him and his dad went down to a couple of training sessions and enjoyed it, and then decided to play against Leigh. And Jake Forbes, what a player! Considering he's only been playing not very long, couple of weeks. So yeah, he can catch pigeons, this kid. Scored twice. First try, someone shipped it. He went round the winger, come to the fullback, stepped the fullback and ran in for 40 metres. No one laid a glove on him. It was unbelievable. And then the second try was a bit like, when Martin Afai used to kind of sort of zigzag across the field until he found a gap and he'd go. He did one of them, ran from 50, nobody touched him. I was like, I thought, where's this kid come from? It was unreal. So yeah, fantastic. And he said he really enjoyed it as well. And I suppose it's special, obviously, playing with his dad. It's a special moment, that really.
Yeah, of course it is, and you see the talent in some of these lads and ladies as well. So they're not just doing it for the enjoyment. They are, but they're doing it because they've got a bit of talent as well. And good luck to them. That sounds amazing. That, and yeah, I was just when you were saying that, then I was just imagining Martin Afai. I think it was that try he scored at Wembley when he went round. Fullback, who was it? It was Alan Tate when he went round. I was just thinking of that then, so it must have been special that to watch. But no, it sounds really good, and I'm glad everybody enjoyed it. And hopefully there's more of these festivals, to go out for the rest of the season, because I know they all enjoyed Hull, didn't they? A few weeks ago, they was over there in Hull. And they are getting about, aren't they? But that is all part of the day as well. They're travelling together. Some of them, all the fun that they're going to have as well. They make a big day of it, and I think it's absolutely tremendous. It's been one of the real highlights of the season. This has been so long may it continue. And like we said, you both said there, it's spreading the name of the club. It's getting people involved in the club, and it's getting our name out there, and it's doing good in the community as well. And I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah, Heather Robinson was the coach, and Laura Bent was the kind of water carrier for the ladies, and I was like, when you half recognising, and I thought, is it her? But I was too sort of nervous to go over just in case she wasn't parking, because that would have been a bit embarrassing if it wasn't her.
Yeah, you don't want to be making mistakes like that, do you? Before you start saying somebody's name. But yeah, no, I mean, they're doing a great job, aren't they? Giving up the time to do all this. Nobody makes them do anything. They do out the goodness of their heart, and it's brilliant to see. And without people like them, and it's always been the same in rugby league, we wouldn't have a game. From playing amateur and right the way through, the people who give up all their time to make sure that you have a bit of fun, it's tremendous, and that's what rugby league's about, and that's why it has always been that family thing. We can only thank them for their effort.
Yeah, I'll just have a quick run through the team. Ben Blood, Keith Blood, James Walker, Leigh Forbes, Jake Forbes, Gaz Scott, Sean Robinson, Joshua Thompson, Dylan Kelly, Jordan Bolan, Tony O'Malley, and James Wright were the Salford team that day. So yeah, good win. 60 points to 30 away at Leigh, and congratulations on the big win, and hopefully we'll be seeing more action to come. So that's all the reports of the matches this week, and we'll look forward now to see what's happening in the world of Salford Red Devils. So we'll start with Friday, Armed Forces Day. Club have put out an advertisement trying to tempt people in the armed forces to come and watch the match. Paul, hopefully they'll get a good intake after the successes of the schools in a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it's another good thing to do, isn't it? I mean, it was with the schools and what the people that got involved with that. I think it put the club in a good light, and everybody enjoyed themselves. And this is another part of society, isn't it? People who work in the armed forces, where whatever level that may be, these are people who are doing a very, very important job and deserve the recognition, don't they? And if they can come down to Salford and enjoy themselves, I'm all for that. So hopefully we'll see them down there on Friday night, and it's going to be another good night, isn't it? Another big game against the Challenge Cup winners, and just won the cup there, and a big name that Wigan is. I mean, every time you play Wigan, it's no matter what, it's a massive game, isn't it? The history and heritage of their club. So I'm looking forward to Friday. Hopefully the weather stays good and everyone enjoys themselves. I'm sure there's a lot of events going on before the match as well. So it should be a really enjoyable night.
Yeah, they've got some special guests coming down Parker. The 103rd Regiment Artillery with it says the light gun, which I presume means the big gun. 4 Battalion, the Duke of Lancaster Regiment. 611 Squadron Royal Auxiliary Air Force. 101 Battalion Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers with a vehicle. Royal Navy is there as well. So there's lots of, like you say, it's a good, still like they're going to get a good turnout.
Yeah, very much so. I'm glad they're doing this. I think the veterans are a part of society that get forgotten far too easily. Once you come out of, I've got lots of mates who are ex-forces, and there is a struggle when they come out. With adjusting to life, and I don't think there's a lot of help out there at times, and it's just a great way of saying thanks. I think for the service. Some of these people will have been and seen some things that we'll never want to see. So yeah, good way of paying them back, a bit of a reward. And I hope it's it gets taken up really well. Be interesting to see kind of weapons outside the outside.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you might need it sometimes around there, but no, it should be good. Should be good fun. Hopefully, like Paul said, hope the weather can hold off. I know it's been a bit hit and miss. So especially with the kids, and they can interact with it. The soldiers and that kind of thing. It should be a decent night.
Yeah. Father's Day is coming up. Paul, Red Devils whiskey is being pushed by the club. Ideal gift. I don't think I've ever seen you drink any whiskey sort of a drink. Would that be something on your radar?
I'm not really a big drinker anymore, mate, to be honest.
No.
I used to be. If I do a beer, mate, I don't really drink shorts and things like that. I like a pint of bitter, or a lager or whatever. I'm not really a shorts man, to be honest with you. I had a bad experience with a bottle of Navy rum when I was about 18, so it put me off shorts for life, mate. But sounds good, though. Sounds good.
Yeah, it's. I know we know Parker's off the juice. I'll take a bottle of whiskey for 50 quid. You know, I'll drink anything though, Parker.
Yeah, no, I've seen it. I've seen it advertised. They've been doing it all year, haven't they? Because I know they're a sponsor of Super League, aren't they? So it's it's a good thing. Promotional bottle as well. So you're not going to get you're not going to get another one. It's something you can keep as well. Yeah, decent gift. Sadly, I've no one to buy it for, but
lad, just tears welling up here.
But it's good. I have seen it, and I know people who've bought them previously as well. So decent. You like that kind of thing?
So it's a jump from bucket hat to 50 quid bottle of whiskey, Parker, to ask the listeners for.
No, wait on me, that one. Wasted.
Yeah.
No, I do know someone within this house that would like it, but I'm not going there.
No. Other news, Morgan Escaré has been picked for the French squad, who will face Wales in international. Paul, it's great. Obviously, he's played for Salford Red Devils. He's in the French squad. Hopefully he'll get a game and he'll show his talent off.
Yeah, certainly. He's a tricky player, is Morgan Escaré, and I'm not so sure who Paul Roll is going to pick this Friday, whether it be him or Ryan Bryle. I don't think he's let us down really when he's been in the side. He's one of those players that he's very, very exciting to watch. I mean, I don't know whether we mentioned it the other week. I was watching the game back against Cass when he hides behind the post.
Yeah.
And the commentators were saying he's playing hide and seek. It just made me laugh. But he's that sort of player. He's real jack in the box, and the stuff that he does. So yeah, he'll be an acquisition to the French side. There's no doubt about that, and that should be a good game. That against Wales. I know Wales coach is John Keir, isn't it? I think he's just got the witness job. I believe. I think he starts that after the international break. So that should be a good game. I'm sure Morgan won't let France down.
Yeah, last week, Parky, we talked about two of our development squad playing in the European Championships at the end of the season for Wales and England. Obviously, Morgan Escaré looking to get a spot in that World Cup at the end of the season.
Yeah, very much so. He's not had much chance, has he, this year to impress, but he's obviously done enough to get a call up because, a French team now with the players got to lose as well as Catalan, and they've got plenty to choose from. So that's great. I've not seen a Welsh squad. I don't know if anybody else has seen it. Whether obviously Rhys Williams and any other. I don't know if we've got any more these days. We used to have quite a few, but it'd be a good game. That will be a good game, and I hope he gets his chance. I think when he played against England, was it earlier this year, last year? He played on the wing, didn't he, Morgan, for France, which I don't really think is an ideal position for him. But the French have got a bit of competition now, so it's good to see him in there, and hopefully, like you say, he can keep himself fit and get picked for the World Cup.
I'm going to quick flick through the Welsh Twitter, but they're playing England. I think the ladies are playing England, so they're more concerned about that at the moment. I think the Welsh to give us a Welsh squad, but we'll wait and see if Williams can get in that squad. Other news, talking about ladies game, the Salford and Swinton girls rugby, their next session is on the 14th. Obviously really exciting things happening down there, Paul. Obviously, with our ladies going great guns in the league, they're creating heroes for these kids, and gives an opportunity to play, develop, and hopefully a pathway in the next few years.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's what every club needs, don't you? I mean, a pathway at whatever level you're at, whatever gender you're at. So I'm sure that's what the club are after, and yeah, they've just got to continue the good work. You've got your people who have been the pioneers this season, really, and I'm sure there's plenty of girls and ladies out there who want to follow in the footsteps. So I'm sure they will do, definitely, because they've set the bar now, haven't they, and set the example. And it's been a tremendous ride so far, and I'm sure it's going to continue.
Yeah, it's exciting times, obviously, in the area, Paul. Obviously, these girls probably in sort of historically never really got the opportunity to play rugby league. So to have this training session on and the girls sort of playing in the championship and playing well, it's a bright future ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just watching Lancashire
cricket. Yeah,
cricket. It is. And like you say, now like Paul said there, now that our ladies team has sort of set a platform and laid out a pathway for the girls, I'm sure more and more girls will get encouraged to play, seeing what the ladies team are doing. And again, like you say, just more for the community getting involved. Because again, I've never really thought about it this way, but when you look at the sporting landscape for females, I don't think there is a lot, especially in areas like this. You know what I mean? Yeah, you see sort of when you watch the Olympics, you might see them play hockey or something like that. I don't know too many hockey teams in Salford. You know what I mean? It's that. Whereas this is a chance for that again, that fitness side of things as well, and everybody's really keen on that these days. So it's great, and again, more people putting their time in, volunteering to do this, and we obviously know a few that are involved, don't we? And full credit to them. But we're just getting a message out in the community again.
Yeah, we ask for our players to keep switched on, Parker. I need you to keep switched on this podcast, yeah?
Sorry. Yorkshire, he's too good.
Other news, Paul, the club announced a new thing, 150 club, which is a kind of a sort of a thing within the club, but you can pay £150 to join and get lots of great stuff for it. Obviously, we talk about Paul Rowley's woes, not getting players in, but things like this will help.
Yeah, they certainly will. I'm sorry, just repeat that question to me.
Oh, you watching the cricket as well?
No, I was just thinking about something.
What are you thinking about?
One of my jobs tomorrow.
Right.
What was that again? Sorry.
The club have announced this new 150 club where you pay £150 and you get access to lots of great stuff. Obviously, will help put funds back in the club.
My apologies, Rob. It's like being at school. Listen, I wasn't listening at the back. Yeah, I saw that the other day, and I was reading about that. And times are pretty tough at the moment for people, aren't they? I mean, with cost of living and things like that. So it's going to be difficult for people. But I suppose it's a good incentive, isn't it? And I mean, it was good a few years ago with the squad build. The people got into that, didn't they, and did that. So yeah, any initiative like that's good. But like I said, it is difficult finding the money, and when it is tight. But I'm sure there'll be people out there who've got a bit that they can put in. And it seems good. What I was reading about, it seems good. I think you can interview a player, can't you, and go to training and things like that. There's some really good prizes, isn't there? So amongst the few that I read about. So no, it sounds good, and fair play to the club to come up with these initiatives.
Sorry, what did you missed all that? What did you say then, Paul?
You need to listen.
You need to listen. Switch on. Yeah, things that are happening. You can get. There's supposed to be a tunnel wall in 2003 where you can get your name, presumably on the players' tunnel as they walk out, which will be exciting. Poster of the 2022 squad, which is also very exciting because obviously Parker, talking about posters of teams, went through a phase where we never really had one. So to get an opportunity to get another one is you got to jump at that, aren't you?
Yeah, like about the cast game the other week when they were giving out them things to the kids, where they had pictures of the first team and the ladies team and everything else, profiles on the inside. It was brilliant to see. The kids loved it. You know what I mean? It's something you keep, like you say, put on your wall or whatever you do with it. We did get away from that. I know there's an expense involved, obviously. So you're always looking for a sponsor to sponsor something like that to make it happen. But then, could you use that sponsorship money somewhere else? That's always a bit of an issue. But yeah, no, it is good to see. It is a great initiative. I remember back in 2003 when we first set up Forever Reds, and one of the ideas was a 1,000 club. Well, you could get 1,000 people to put 100 quid in, or 100 people to put £1,000 in. You know what I mean? And you think of the money that it's a simple idea if people have got the money. At the moment, it's probably couldn't come at a worse time, I don't think. There are people out there who will find it, no problem at all, and would have given it the club anyway, in like saying a squad builder or whatever else, sponsor a try and everything else you do throughout the year. It's it may just have to replace other things, but no, it's great, and like you say, the club give you something back for it. But most of the time, if you've got that, let's be honest, if we had 150 quid going spare, we'd give it them anyway. It wouldn't. That's not, it's not a question. I don't want anything in return. I just want my club and my club to do well. So yeah, it is a good initiative, and hopefully, we can all get involved in some way, and raise much needed funds for next season and onwards. But yeah, I mean, let's not forget, it does celebrate, the 150 years of the club.
That's it.
Big year next year, a very, very big year for us, and something that does need celebrating.
Yeah, you can also have a kicking masterclass, passing challenges, get involved in training, pictures, training. You can put the kit out, leave inspirational messages to players in the dressing room, interview players. Paul, photo with advice to take photos with a top photographer. It says carry the ball onto the pitch, upgrade to the 1873 club, and lots and lots more.
Yeah, and I think if you're a support, those are the sort of prizes that you want to be involved with, aren't they? I mean, getting involved with the club and going behind the scenes, I think as kids growing up, they're the sort of little things you dream of, aren't they? I mean, I remember at the Willows going into the change rooms once to have a mooch about before a game, and it was a long time ago. God, I was only like knee high or something, so I must have been about 5. But it was a long time ago, and things like that stick with you, don't they? You remember stuff like that, and that's what it's all about. So yeah, I think that's off to the club there. They've come up with some really good ideas. And just echoing what Parky said there, it's a blast from the past, that 1,000 club. I've still got my badge from that. I remember joining that with my dad, the 1,000 club. I've still got my badge in the drawer. So yeah, little things like that I think make you feel that little bit more, part of the club. I mean, I don't think we've got like a supporters association anymore, have we? It's more the supporters trust that we have now, but all those little sort of clubs and things that are part of the club, I think they're special and they make you feel a part of it.
Yeah, so get yourselves involved in that and enjoy all the good stuff that they've got, and I'm sure they'll be adding to it as the weeks and months goes on. So that's all the big news that's come out of the club this week, and now we'll have a look what's going on in the world of Rugby League with Whiteside's World of Rugby League.
Here is this week's Daily Detail, amateur report, and life outside Super League, any other business, and whatever else you want to call it. So here we go. We'll start off with the National Conference Leagues. A couple of results from the weekend just gone. Rochdale Mayfield were beaten at home in the Premier Division. They were trailing 18-6 at the break. They battled back in the second half, but were beaten 18 points to 12 at home to Wathbrow Hornets. In Division 1, Saddleworth Rangers 2, West Bowling 32. And in Division 3, there was a big Oldham derby between Oldham St Anne's and Waterhead Warriors. The Warriors come out on top. They won that by 42 points to 22. The fixtures for this Saturday, the 11th of June, the Premier Division, Rochdale Mayfield at home to Leigh Minor Rangers. Division 1, Hull Dockers face Saddleworth Rangers. Division 3, it's Batley Boys against Oldham St Anne's, and Waterhead Warriors face Drillington. Turning our attention to the North West Men's League, it was the trophy at the weekend has gone. Saturday the 4th of June, Salford City Roosters progressed. They beat Woolston Rovers A by 62 points to 14. In Division 4 South and East, Waterhead Warriors A 20, Higginshaw 12. Fixtures for this week, these games are all going to be played on Saturday the 11th of June. Division 1, it's Askham against Bury Broncos, Folly Lane against Ulverston. Division 2, Roost Pioneers at home to Cadishead Rhinos. West Horton Lions face Wigan Springview. Division 4 South and East, it's Burton Wood Chargers against Waterhead Warriors A. Burton Wood Bridge face Langworthy Reds. And in Division 5, it's Tameside Knights at home to the Bolton Mets. There was a ladies' game in the Women's President Cup. That was played at Leigh Minor Rangers last Wednesday. England Students 34, the UK Armed Forces 6. That leaves the table. After that, those couple of games, England University's top played 2-1-2. UK Armed Forces played 2-1-1, lost 1. And the Great Britain Teachers played 2, lost 2. Well, moving on to Women's Rugby League. In the Women's Super League, Group 2, Wakefield Trinity 10, Bradford Bulls 28. That was a Saturday game. On Sunday, in the Women's Super League Group 1, Huddersfield Giants 18, Wigan Warriors 30, York City Knights 24, Leeds Rhinos 10. In the Women's Super League Group 2, Barrow Raiders 40, Leigh Minor Rangers 6. And the Women's Super League South, it was Golden Ferns 24, London Broncos 54, Oxford Cavaliers 6, Army Rugby League 44. The forthcoming fixtures for the women's on Sunday the 12th of June, it's Bradford Bulls against Casford Tigers, Featherstone Rovers at home to Wakefield Trinity, and Leigh Minor Rangers play Barrow Raiders. Well, in the Northwest Youth Leagues, there wasn't many in fact, there was no results at the weekend just gone. The fixtures for this weekend coming up, these games are on Sunday, the 12th of June. In the Under-18s Division 1, Crossfields at home to Saddleworth Rangers. In the Under-16s Division 1, it's South Trafford Raiders at home to Rochdale Mayfield, and West Horton Lions face Folly Lane. Division 2 of the Under-16, Saddleworth are at home to Thatto Heath Crusaders. And Division 3 of the Under-16s, it's Pilkington Rex against Salford City Roosters. Well, moving across to Australia now. Apologies last week. I said it was the State of Origin last Wednesday. I got that wrong. It's this Wednesday, actually, the first State of Origin between Queensland and New South Wales. The results from round 13 of the NRL last weekend has gone. It was Canberra Raiders 22, Sydney Roosters 16, Gold Coast Titans 6, North Queensland 32, Penrith Panthers 30, Canterbury Bulldogs 18, and Manly Seagulls 44, New Zealand Warriors 12. The fixtures for this week, round 14, Friday the 10th of June, North Queensland Cowboys face St George Illawarra. On Saturday the 11th of June, there's a couple of Sky fixtures. It's Sydney Roosters against Melbourne Storm at 8:30, Brisbane Broncos against Canberra Raiders at 10:35. There's an earlier game as well, which is not on the TV. That's Gold Coast Titans against South Sydney Rabbitohs. On Sunday the 12th of June, West Tigers face Manly Seagulls, Newcastle Knights are home to Penrith Panthers, and the television game at 9:15 is New Zealand Warriors against Cronulla Sharks. So Penrith are still top of the table. They've won 12 from 13. Melbourne are second with 9 wins from 13. Then it's North Queensland Cowboys, Brisbane Parramatta, Cronulla Sharks, Sydney Roosters and Sydney Rabbitohs make up the playoff places. Well, moving back to the UK, it was Super League round 14 at the weekend just gone. Castleford Tigers 12, Wigan 32 was a Saturday game. Friday night, Catalan Dragons 14, Huddersfield 22. Big result that for Huddersfield Giants, especially after the Challenge Cup final, to go away to France and win over there. Good result for them. Hull KR 43, Salford 16, Toulouse 14, St Helens 28, Wakefield 19, Hull FC 18. Hull FC led that game 18 points to 6 at half time. Wakefield storming back in the second half, tries from Hall on 69 minutes, and it was Lee Gaskell in the last minute of the game, 79th minute. Mason Leno kicked 3 goals, and then Jacob Miller dropping a goal in the 84th minute, the 4th minute of golden point extra time, to win the match for Wakefield 19 points to 18. Warrington Wolves were thumped on Friday night home to Leeds Rhinos by 40 points to 4. In the Championship round 14, Barrow 44, Widnes 4, Batley Bulldogs 46, Workington Town 0, Dewsbury Rams 18, Whitehaven 26, Leith 36, Halifax Panthers 0, Newcastle Thunder 18, Sheffield Eagles 31, and York City Knights 36, London Broncos 34. Barrow Raiders beating Widnes Vikings. Widnes are in all sorts of problems at the moment. They're in the down the bottom end of the table. They've just appointed a new coach this week, though. John Keir will take over shortly as Widnes' coach. The veteran John Keir has won the Challenge Cup twice with Hull FC and Sheffield Eagles. He knows the game inside out. See if he can resurrect Widnes' fortunes. Betfred League 1 round 10, Cornwall 20, London Scholars 24, Doncaster 36, Hunslet 6, Midlands Hurricanes 56, West Wales 12. Big result for Keighley. They won away from home against in the top of the table class against North Wales Crusaders by 56 points to 12. Good crowd there as well at that game. Oldham 8, Swinton Lions 16. So that leaves the league table in Betfred League 1. Keighley are top, 9 wins from 9. North Wales Crusaders are second with 8 wins from 9. Then it's Swinton Lions, Rochdale Hornets, Doncaster and Hunslet who make up the playoff places. In the Championship, Leigh Centurions stay top. Well, they're not top actually. There was a game Monday night. Featherstone Rovers beat Bradford Bulls, so Featherstone have leapfrogged them and gone top, but it's Leigh and Featherstone top of the table at the moment, and York City Knights, Batley Bulldogs, Halifax and Barrow make up the playoff places. The fixtures for this week then. Super League Friday night, Huddersfield face Leeds at 7:45. Salford play Wigan Warriors 8 o'clock. There's a Super League fixture at tea time on Saturday between Catalan Dragons and Hull FC. Betfred League 1 on Saturday is West Wales Raiders against London Scholars. The rest of the games are Sunday. Betfred Super League, St Helens against Hull KR, Toulouse against Castleford Tigers, Wakefield against Warrington. In the Betfred Championship, Batley Bulldogs at home to Newcastle Thunder, Dewsbury Rams face London Broncos, Sheffield Eagles play Bradford Bulls, Whitehaven against Halifax, Widnes against York City Knights, and a Cumbrian derby between Workington Town and Barrow. That's a 2 o'clock kickoff. The Betfred League 1 on Sunday is Cornwall against Keighley Cougars. That's an hour league gap at 1 o'clock. Hunslet face North Wales Crusaders. Oldham are at home to Midlands Hurricanes, and Swinton Lions face Rochdale Hornets at 4:30. There's one fixture on Monday the 13th of June. That's on Premier Sports at 7:45, and it's Leigh Centurions against the Featherstone Rovers. That should be an absolute cracker. That's all I've got for you this week. Take care, have a good week, and I'll see you on Friday night for Salford against Wigan Warriors in the Super League.
That was Whiteside's World of Rugby League, and now we'll look forward to all the big games coming up this weekend. So we'll start with the reserves, Parky. They are away at Leeds on Friday. Shevington playing at 7 p.m. kickoff. Obviously, Danny Barton's men, it's going to be a tough challenge. Leeds Rhinos are famed for having a sort of a very good sort of academy, so they'll probably try and blood them in this reserve. So you're hoping, obviously, Danny Barton can work his magic there and get a result.
Yeah, massive task, isn't it? Leeds, like you say, over the last 20 years or so, it's a conveyor belt they bring through young players, and they do get the pick of the players mainly from Yorkshire. The best young players. It'd be a massive test for our lads, massive. But again, if you're going to improve, you've got to play against these teams, because one day, some of these lads in our reserves will be meeting these lads in a first team game. That's the way you've got to look at it. And it's a good benchmark. I mean, I wouldn't, I hate thinking that we can't win games, but I wouldn't put us down for a win away at Leeds with their youth system and everything else at the stage that we're at the moment. I'm very much a development team. But it is a good challenge, and you get to see how other teams do it, how Leeds will operate, and what goes on there that's different. You might see something in a player that you can take away from it. Massive challenge. It's a shame it's again a Friday night when we've got a game, and I think the Rugby League needs to look at these fixtures a little bit, to be honest, to try and make it a bit easier for teams. But no, good luck to the lads. It will be a massive challenge, and there'll be other games to come where they'll learn something from this that they can take forward. But yeah, good luck to Danny and his lads. It's going to be a tough place to go.
Like Parky said, Paul, tough place to go, Leeds, but development team always learning. If he can, obviously might cause an upset. If they go to Leeds and win, that'd be a big result.
Yeah, it's a learning process, isn't it, at the moment? I mean, we've not had the reserve side for that long. Like Parky said, Leeds have been a conveyor belt over the years, not just for their own sort of system. I think if you go around and look around Super League, Championship, League One over the last 15, 20 years, you've got a lot of players who've come through that system at Leeds. I mean, we've had quite a few that have come to solve it, haven't we? So yeah, it's going to be tough for them, but you've got to challenge yourself, haven't you? And those players in the reserves will love a challenge, and whatever the result is, the result is. But I'm sure Danny Barton will have them fired up, and they'll give a good account of themselves, definitely.
Yeah, the ladies are at home. They play Stanley this week. Parky. Stanley are third in the league. They've won 2, lost 1. They beat Dewsbury. They beat Hull, and they lost Narrow to Hull KR. So it'll be a tough challenge for Chris Bates' ladies.
Yeah, another one. And obviously it's the chance to bounce back, isn't it, after the loss last time out. The other girls are still kind of licking the wounds a little bit on that one, and a bit of dented pride perhaps. But we've already seen how good they are. We know if we can get all the bodies back on the park, we'll have a great chance at home again. A few comforts perhaps. I hope I get down there actually on Sunday afternoon, I think, and catch them. It should be a cracker, like you say. They've got off to a good start to the season. So hopefully, like I say, the girls can get a few bodies back in there, because I know they were missing a couple of weeks ago. But I think they'll be doubly determined after what happened. Like you say, getting that first defeat, that'll have hurt them. And I hope on Sunday somebody's on the receiving end of it.
Yeah, they're playing at Lord Street, Cadishead. Postcode is M445EH. 2 p.m. kickoff. Paul, obviously top of the table, brings pressure, doesn't it? And obviously after last week's sort of defeat, opportunity to obviously bounce back. Chris Bates, I think, spoke to us last week, didn't he, and talked about other teams in the division hoping that this defeat was the wheels falling off. But I don't think it was. I don't think it is. The way that he was talking and what we've seen on sort of social media, we're ready to kick on again.
Yeah, I can't think of any teams in any sport that have gone unbeaten forever. So teams lose, don't they? That's part of life. It's part of sport. So it's about how you react from that. And they always say, don't they, you can learn a lot more in defeat than victory. I don't know who come up with that conundrum, but it's probably true. You do, don't you? Learn a bit about yourselves, and you learn to improve on things. And sometimes it's up the backside that you need as well. I think we spoke about it last week, didn't we? We were saying about, when we watched the first team before now, when they've been on decent runs, you've got beat. It's just give you that perk up that you need to go on. So, yeah, I'm expecting a reaction from them. There's nothing, I think in sport, when you do get beat, I think it can make you hungrier sometimes, can't it, to improve, and you can't wait for that game the week after to put things right. I mean, I know that as a supporter, I'm sure you guys do. When you go and watch Salford and you get a big thumping, yeah, you might feel a bit upset for an hour or two after the game, but then you can't wait to get there next week and do your little tiny bit of cheering the team on to winning. I think that's what sport's all about. So I think you'll see a good reaction this week.
Yeah, and obviously being top of the table, Parker, gives them that taste of being sort of the top team. When obviously they talk of going into Super League, if they make it, if they get promoted, intense level is going to be there each and every week. So it gives the girls opportunity to sort of play in that kind of zone, ready for the Super League promised land when it does come.
Yeah, and being top of the league, obviously it comes with its own sort of pressures, but everybody's there to knock you off. You're the shot at, and that's the pressure you need if you are going to go up. We are going to eventually be a Super League side. You need to be ready every single week because that's the intensity of the game. And at one point it'll flip, and you'll be the team that's trying to beat Saints or Leeds or Castle, York, one of the better teams. So at the moment, yeah, this is a good place to be. You want to be top of the league, of course you do, and everyone coming after you. But you've got to be at the top of your game every single week. On any slight glitch or as we found out a fortnight ago with a few injuries, that's tough to do. But I'm sure this week I'm sure the last 2 weeks, knowing what the girls are like, they've trained hard for this one. And I hope, like Chris said last week, a couple of them have given themselves a bit of time off.
Yeah,
knocked themselves into the ground. But yeah, it should be a good game. Should be a really good game, and hopefully, like I say, I'm going to try and get down there and just hope the weather holds off, and and our girls can win and extend the lead.
Yeah, the men are in action on Friday. They face Wigan at home. Paul, obviously after last week's defeat, opportunity to put that behind us and win.
Yeah, it's easier said than done. We've only beaten 5 times at home in the Super League era,
Yeah.
so it's not a game we always win. But those 5 have all been really memorable games, haven't they? I think when you beat Wigan, it's something that sticks in your memory, and you can think back at all 5 of them games and think of the incidents that happened in them. So yeah, it's a big, massive challenge. Wigan have got some super players, haven't they? You look at the pack and. It's a Jai Field and Bevan French who've been playing real. Liam Marshall, some of the tries they've scored this season, they're a real team, aren't they? And I think their coach deserves a lot of credit as well, like Matty Pete. I think he's come in and not been like a household name, but has come and put his own stamp on the team and gained the respect of the players. And he's got them Wigan players playing, as good as I've seen them in the last few years. So they're a real threat to go and do the double this season. So I don't think they're going to take it lightly. I think they're chasing St. Helens and they're going to be a real tough prospect for us. But just looking at Salford's performance, I think, there's no question we seem to play better at the AJ Bell Stadium, don't we? We seem to raise our game there. We've played really well last 2 home games. You've got another sort of carnival atmosphere coming up Friday night with the armed forces personnel being. It should be a special night, and I think the players will rise to that. So I think it'll be a good game. I really do. I think it'll be an open, attacking game, and let's hope our pack can do a lot better than did last week, because we'll need to do against a strong Wigan pack.
Yeah. 2 things, Parker. Wigan Warriors won the Challenge Cup. They beat Cass last week. This week, obviously, we're hoping for a dip, because obviously you can't sort of run at 100 mile an hour every week, especially after the emotion of winning a cup.
Yeah, you stole me thunder there. That was my point. They managed to get themselves up and ready again for the Cass game. At some point, that cup final and the celebrations or whatever might just have an effect. I know Matty Pete was delighted with them last week, wasn't he? Because of backing up that effort after having a week of celebrating. And he let them celebrate. He said that. He said, you've won the cup. Let's, there's none of this. Oh, it's back to business. It was, enjoy yourselves. We've got a game next week, but we'll worry about that then. They did okay against Cass. Although Cass looked like they did against us, where they started like a house on fire, and and just let the game slip away from them. And Wigan obviously were too strong in the end. It's going to be horrendously tough for us. You look at that Wigan team, and it's good. It's very good. Like Paul just said there, this is probably the best I've seen Wigan play in a number of years. Certainly, during the Adrian Lamb period, they were very great defensively, unreal. But going attacking wise, they were a bit flat. Still, they grind you down eventually because they had better players than you. That was basically it. But overall, they weren't entertaining. And now, you've got these strike players all over the park. Harry Smith's in great form at the moment for him at scrum half, a guy he's had to work hard to get to where he's at the moment. When he first came on the scene, I think I wasn't too sure about him, but he looks like he's starting to become the real deal, and that's a test for Sneyd and Croft at half-backs to keep them quiet. They've still got Tommy Lulawai doing the business for them, and then like Paul said, that pack of theirs is massive, and that's going to be our real problem. I think our backline is good enough to compete and hold theirs, but with our forwards have really got to step up. Hopefully, like I say, we get Andy Ackers back in there. Hopefully, he'll give us that little bit of a boost. But that's where the competition is, and it's time that them lads stood up. And it is a home game, so we've got to make the most of these if we're going to do anything this year. But for me, following last week, as much as I want to win, and obviously you always want to beat Wigan, that's nothing new, but it's a performance I want to see. I want to put it in. I want to see him, I don't want to see him roll over and let Wigan, tickle the belly, because that's not what we've seen from Salford over the previous month. I want to see it get stuck in and give him a real go. And if we do come out the wrong end of the result, at least make people go, because we're on the box, aren't we? And people can watch it and go, do you know what? They're not actually a bad side, Salford. And do ourselves a bit of credit, because we owe that to ourselves after last week.
One thing you're looking for, Paul?
A reaction from last week, really. You always want to play well, don't you, against sides like Wigan and St Helens and Leeds and Warrington as well. When they come to Salford, these are the big sides, aren't they? The big names in the sport, and we've got some big players there. Wigan. I mean, look at the strike players that they've got, and I also look at the guys who do the spade work as well. I mean, Liam Farrell, for me, I think he's the best back rower in the country. One of the best forwards in Super League. So the amount of tries he scores for a back row is unbelievable. So they've got guys like that as well who can weigh you down. So yeah, I'm looking for a contest and us to play well, and then the result will look after itself. But we proved, in the month of May, with that game at Wigan and that performance at St Helens and the 2 wins, that band of 4 games, that we can perform to a high level. So I'm just hoping last Sunday okay, as a bit of a blip, and we can give the supporters something to cheer about on a Friday night.
I'm looking for game management, me. I just want us to try and control the game and squeeze them. And obviously the pressure will build, but like I say, it's one of them. Paul Rowley talked about consistency and trying to find a reason why we can't seem to be consistent. And I think it's a big part of it. I think game management, Parky. If you can control the game, then you're in half a chance of winning a match.
Yeah, but it's all about that arm wrestle up front, isn't it?
You've
got to earn the right to control the game. You've got to get your hands on the ball, and if you're on the backwards foot all the time defending, because your forwards are getting knocked about, that can't happen no matter how good your back line is or anything else. So it is going to be key. And I know them forwards will be battered and bruised and probably won't be feeling too great about themselves. And that's going to be a tough test. That's why we could have done without Wigan this week, I think. Possibly someone with a, not an easy, there aren't easy games, but, some might have had a bit of a lesser pack of forwards to go at us. But it is what it is, and it's our challenge now. And I think just going off what Paul was saying, I think he mentioned Leigh Farrell, a player who is in outstanding form. He's been a great player for years, always underrated in my eyes. And I don't know if I've heard this right, but I'm led to believe that Liam Farrell scored the most tries against Salford in Super League.
Right.
All players played against us, Liam Farrell has scored the most tries against us. That could, I can imagine that to be true because he seems to score every time he plays against us. And he does score a lot of tries, doesn't he, for a back rower? So because he's got a turn of pace for a biggish lad. So he's one to watch. So if that happens, you've heard it here. But no, like you say, I just want to see a performance from us. I want to see our lads stick it in and give themselves a bit of credit and get a bit of pride back because last week was not good enough. And if you can put in a performance against Wigan, then you can do it against most teams.
That smells like us busted down the middle parquet and him on the shoulder to go over.
Yeah.
That's what that smells like. So, Paul, weather prediction, score prediction.
I've not really looked at the weather, to be honest with you, mate. I think it's looking a bit warmer towards the end of the week, isn't it? But I don't know. I'm not.
Shall I do your job?
Yeah, go on. I only go on my phone anyway.
Weather.
Look at the 5-day forecast. Go on, have a look.
Have a look. Sunny.
Well,
21. So what does that? Big coat, small coat, no coat at all.
Well, I'll be coming straight from work, no doubt. So I'll have to take
Boiler suit.
Yeah, well, no, I'll have to change the clothes. Take my steel toe caps off. But I'll get some gear in the van just in case. But no, I'm looking forward to it. We say it all the time, don't we? I think Friday nights, especially at the AJ Bell, I think they've grown on us, haven't we? And we've seen some good nights recently. So I'm really looking forward to it. And I like these Sunday afternoon games, I really do. But I think it kicks off the weekend well, doesn't it, sometimes with the Friday night? It keeps the missus happy as well, because then you've got a Saturday, Sunday to spend with her and the kids. So gets it out of the way, doesn't it? So I'm looking forward to Friday night. I think it'll be a good game.
She'll love Caddy's Head on Sunday.
We'll see. I was supposed to go to Swinton and watch Swinton and Hornets on Sunday, but that's a tea time game, so I might even be able to get both in. Playing cards, right? Yeah, double header on Sunday, so we'll see.
What's your score prediction?
18-14 to Salford.
18-14. There's a story behind that.
Not really, no. I can't see it coming true, but I'm just going with my heart, really, than my head. I can't see there being loads of points in it because I know Wigan's got a really good defence, haven't they? And mind you say that, when we played them a couple of weeks ago, it was 30 points to 24, wasn't it? So I contradicted myself there, really. But no, I'll say a Joe Burgess try because he's been in really good form. And I thought, to be honest with you, I thought out of the game at Hull Kingston Rovers, he was a player that came out of it with a bit of credit because him and Dion Cross, I think, did loads of tackling, loads of work and that, and they didn't let us down. So I'd like to see Budgie get another try.
Parquet, big coat, small coat, or no coat at all? And what's your prediction?
I'll probably put a jacket on of some sort. I think if it is that temperature, it'd be quite nice. I've got this horrible feeling that the weather we're having at the moment is going to absolutely bounce down. So, I think it'll be a low scoring game. I wouldn't do this in the bookies, and I certainly won't be doing it on my prediction league. But I'm going to say 19-12 to Salford.
19-12 story.
No, I've not really thought of one. I just know Sneed will get the drop goal.
Okay.
Just the game near the end.
So they don't call me the optimist for nothing, do they? So I'm thinking, I don't know why you two are so nervous about Friday. Second game after the Challenge Cup final, we're going to shot mentally. So I'm going to go Salford 30, Wigan 10. And I'm going to go Dion Cross hat-trick.
You were the same guy who said with Lampulke, I'll be 40 points.
I tell you, if Ken Seal and Dion Cross hadn't cocked it up, we probably would have.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah. So that's the end of this week's podcast. Parky, another great show.
Yeah, brilliant. Shame again we're on the back of a poor result. And to anyone listening, I don't want to sound too negative, but if you did go on Sunday, you'd understand why I do feel the way I feel. But yeah, no, great show. Lovely chatting again, and hopefully this time next week, we'll have big smiles on our faces looking forward.
Up and down like a roller coaster, and that's the way the world being a Salford fan. Paul, another great show too.
Yeah, enjoyed it. Yeah, we always try and keep a big smile on our faces, don't we? I think we're daft as brushes us three, aren't we? But yeah, great show. We really enjoyed speaking to you two guys, and look forward to seeing you on Friday.
Yeah. Big thanks to this week's Devil in the Detail podcast, Arbor Parkinson. You can find us on Facebook, Devil in the Detail SRD. You can find us on Twitter at DITDSRD. And you can find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Radio Contact, Spotify, and YouTube. See you soon. Happy?